Hello, everyone. Welcome to URBONUS podcast. I'm the host, Donatas URBONUS, saying hi to you, saying zdrava to you from Belgrade. And personally, I'm very happy to see you, Rytis, also back to the podcast because you had some, let's say, explain yourself why we were missing you before the Final Four.
Yeah, hi, Donatas. Hello, everybody. I had some issues with my voice, actually, on Sunday after 4 broadcasts during the Phoenix-Dallas Game 7. I actually lost my voice. I somehow finished the game, but I was really struggling, and then I felt like there's a knife in my throat for a couple of days, so I could barely speak, so it was not possible to record a Final Four preview podcast. But anyway, I believe that after the quarterfinals, we've discussed briefly about the matchups, about the semifinals. We had our predictions. I had my prediction from the very beginning that is going to be Real Madrid against Efes in the final. I was lucky to guess correctly the winners because obviously everything was decided by a single shot. Anyway, yeah, I had some issues. I still have some discomfort while talking. I don't know what happened to me. I didn't see any doctors yet.
It sounds like a singer's
but somehow
issues, no?
Probably, I mean, because of speaking a lot and emotions, speaking on a high tone, everything added up.
What was that moment when you lost your voice? I mean, who kind of killed your voice? Was it?
No, it was just the beginning of the game, Phoenix-Dallas, Game 7. I wanted to express some emotion after Doncic hitting a step-back jump shot, and all of a sudden, I lost my voice. I couldn't do anything. I actually apologized to all the viewers, to the audience, because, well, the commentator sounds like he's either drunk or haven't slept for a couple of weeks. I don't know. Well, anyway, I've managed to have a decent night yesterday with all the basketball action. I feel kind of okay today. Hopefully nothing happens during the podcast, and hopefully I will be okay and ready for the finals.
Yeah, probably now I actually look. I am that guy who looks like drunk or anybody who slept for like 4 hours, because that's what actually happened. Because we worked long hours. Let's say after the first semifinal game. There were some other behind-the-scenes stuff, guys, as well, right? But anyway, it was more related to work, and we are recording this pod early in the morning here in Belgrade, 11 o'clock. And still, there are a lot of things ahead with Media Day for the final, Jordi Bertomeu press conference, some other things. So it's a busy week in Belgrade, I have to tell you.
Yeah, you were in the awards ceremony as well?
Yeah, it was like before the official press conference, everything was in the same place. What is different compared to what was before, that EuroLeague usually they took some nice places for the awards ceremony, but I don't know if it was related to COVID, to some restrictions, or to some, let's say, political things, or the fact that, Final Four was relocated 2 or 3 months ago, so maybe they didn't have any space to make this award ceremony, but they made it in the same place where they have these usual press conferences. So, I took part in this ceremony. It was okay, no catchy phrases, nothing special before the Final Four. Although later, probably you already saw all these quotes, about Ergin Ataman and NBA, Fabian Kozer sharing his EuroLeague final eve memories about snorting Luka Doncic. So yeah, later we had some better quotes, which you can find on BasketNews.com.
Nice.
And just to wrap up this experience, I just wanted to exclude 3 things why I love this Final Four in Belgrade. First of all, you probably saw on our Instagram page that both games in semifinals, they had the same result at the same time. It was 70-73 with less than 4 minutes remaining. So, okay, we can question the level of the game we saw, but at least there was enough drama. Then the second thing is the atmosphere. I mean, having more than 10,000 Olympiacos fans in stands, hearing them singing, not only in Olympiacos game, but later, it was like a, basketball symphony to my ears and soul, probably what they did before the game, how they supported the team. You could find all these videos on BasketNews.com Twitter channel, how they greeted Olympiacos bus when they arrived to the game. It was something special, and I could see that smile and joy in everybody. In everybody's eyes who were in the gym. And the third thing I will mention, that it's just crazy to be in a city which is full of basketball, and it's the first time after 3 years we have all these basketball people together, like I call a basketball family, including journalists, players, teams, executives, scouts, all under one roof. And it's really amazing, because we were missing that feeling. And for example, now I'm coming to this podcast after the breakfast, where I was like sitting next to Nigel William Goss, because I just randomly hit him in some random breakfast place, let's say. So before the games, I remember just watching Željko Bradovic, assistant coaches, crossing by the street. So it's amazing feeling to be here in Belgrade.
Really happy for you, man.
Did you feel as amazing watching these two games? Which game would you like to start from?
I did feel amazing. I mean, if I wanted to be in Belgrade right now, I would be there, but it was my decision not to come. But, well, we can just start from the beginning. Olympiacos Efes was the first semifinal, so we can start talking about this one.
What do you have for it?
Right, so...
Because personally, I have a lot of thoughts about it.
Well, I have some thoughts. I don't know if it's a lot. Obviously, it's an instant EuroLeague Final Four classic when a game ends with a buzzer beater. Vasa Micic hitting that shot, a crazy shot, a wild shot, you could say. And Vasa was not really having a particularly great game. He was not having a good fourth quarter. He missed clutch free throws. And basically, both teams really were not coping very well with the pressure in the fourth quarter. In my opinion, Olympiacos had a lot of opportunities to take the lead. They just couldn't convert their chances. Sasha Vezenkov missed some really quality spot-up shots that usually go in. Watching him all season, he was one of the most consistent players in Europe. He was 1 from 8 shooting the ball. I know there were some tough shots with the shot clock running down, but there were some good spot-ups. He should make those, and it was just not his night.
Yeah, I completely understand why he was in tears after the game, because he made the all EuroLeague team. He was a big reason why Olympiacos were successful. He was always that spot-up threat, and it was very important piece for Olympiacos in this game, because as one of the players said, that Efes usually use the defense where they have help from the foreman. So it was a good opportunity, to use the strengths of Sasha Vezenkov, and he went scoreless in the first half. He made his first shot, I think, only in the end of the third quarter, something like that. And as you said, I mean, he was missing really, really good shots. So, and especially when the game was kind of stuck because both teams just couldn't score. So I think it was a very painful experience for Sasha Vezenkov. Of course, I believe that he will be better next time. He will be better in the next Final Four, and maybe that also comes with experience.
It's his first appearance in the Final Four, and you could see those experienced players, Papanikolaou and Lukas. They went through all these things in their previous years playing in the Final Four. There was no pressure on Lukas or Papanikolaou. They were making the right decisions, the right plays. Actually, Lukas kept them in the game in the end and gave them the chance to win. He hit the free throws. He assisted Hassan Martin for a layup when they tied the game. I think that from the very beginning, Olympiacos looked like they have a better game plan. When they were playing in the paint, using Mustafa Fall first, he was attacking Tibor Pleiss, and Pleiss just could not handle him. Brian Dunstan did a better job, but he also had some problems, which is why he fouled out eventually. And then Hassan Martin stepped up off the bench, and the pick and rolls were really clicking. Hassan Martin, I think he scored like 7 points in 3 minutes or something like that, playing the pick and rolls with Lukas. And really, Olympiacos looked like they have a better game plan, but Efes was always there. They started slow, but after Dunstan hit that crazy three-pointer, other players felt better. Shane Larkin was carrying the team because Micic had some struggles. Shane Larkin was playing almost without any rest in the first half, and in the second half he also sat like for 2 or 3 minutes only. And the biggest thing for Ergin Ataman, I believe, is that they found a guy who stepped up. Kruno Simon was out. Kruno Simon this whole season was in and out, and he was not really in a very good shape. It was not Kruno Simon of last season. And Elijah Bryant became a key player all of a sudden. He played his best game in an Anadolu Efes jersey. He scored 16 points. He was 5 from 5, I believe, in the middle of the third quarter. He hit 3 3-pointers. He hit a couple of floaters. Elijah Bryant can ball. We know that. Tyler Dorsey knows that. He played with him in Maccabi. So really, it was very important for Efes to find something extra that could help Larkin and Micic, and they found a guy. But again, I think that Olympiacos should be proud of themselves. I think Barca should be proud of his team. They did not have a bad performance. They were very close playing against the EuroLeague champions. Some things didn't work out. Some things you cannot predict or control, like Dorsey, for example, missing a couple of important free throws. But in the end, it was just about greatness. It was just about Vasa Micic and that crazy shot.
But to be honest, I mean, I completely agree with the fact that Yorgos Bartzokas, he deserves the Coach of the Year award. I think that he did a tremendous job. And of course, now I can pretend to be a smart guy, watching this fourth quarter, watching the stats, just making my own opinion on what could have been different. And for me personally, watching Olympiacos struggle offensively, they scored only 11 points. They were only 3 of 12 and 0 from 5 making 3-pointers. And I felt that I was missing some adjustments of Coach Bartzokas because he played the same 5 all the fourth quarter. Yes, you mentioned Hassan Martin. He was super important, especially in the third quarter. I think he scored 7 points in the third quarter alone, and he was really important. But at the same time, in fourth quarter, neither Lukas was finding a good shot. Vezenkov was missing everything. Hassan Martin, okay, he's good in pick and roll, but I was missing some adjustments. I wanted to see Thomas Volkop on the court. Maybe he would have helped, organizing the offense, even trying to put Mustafa Fall just for a couple of minutes to give more opportunities inside the paint. So I don't know. I had some mixed feelings, after watching Olympiacos really, really struggling a lot. They couldn't make a field goal for last 5 minutes before Hassan Martin scored that layup after Luka's assist. So I don't know. It felt me, it left me in mixed feelings. And there was a moment, you mentioned Lukas, he was great all year long. But at the same time, there was a moment where Vasilis Spanoulis' face was on the screen in the arena, in Stark Arena, and whole gym started, chanting, "Oh, Vasilis Spanoulis." And I was like, that stage was set for Kostas Lukas, to, let's say, continue Vasilis Spanoulis' saga. I mean, both teams were stuck. Olympiacos needed somebody to score. And I was missing Vasilis Spanoulis' type of player on Olympiacos side. We're talking about the greatest players. We're talking about GOATs. And I just think that, that Spanoulis presence, these memories about Spanoulis and what we saw in Olympiacos game and what we remembered about them making these miracles 10 years ago, 9 years ago, the way they won consecutive EuroLeague finals, I think that they were lacking of that GOAT actually on the court.
I get what you're saying, but actually I have to disagree with you on this one. When you're talking about Bartzokas playing the same lineup in the fourth quarter, he played, I think, his best lineup. Who are you going to take out of the game? Tyler Dorsey hit some big shots, important shots. Kostas Lukas has to be on the court. Sasha Vezenkov has to be on the court. Hassan Martin has to be there for defensive purposes mainly. And they were playing great defense. In the fourth quarter, Anadolu Efes, they were locked. Their ISO basketball didn't work. Larkin penetrating or Vasa Micic penetrating the paint didn't work. They were not hitting anything. They had a wide open look for Moorman, but Moorman was really cold. And I mean, Olympiacos were in a good position to win the game. They played good defense. The problem was the Anadolu Efes run in the third quarter when they took an 11-point lead. Olympiacos needed a lot of energy to come back. They actually finished the quarter quite well. They finished being down by 4. I don't have a problem with the lineup, actually, that Bartzokas chose. It was the correct decision, in my opinion, for defensive purposes. And on offense, it's hard to control some of those things. Players missing wide open shots or missing free throws, clutch free throws. It's not up to the coach. And I'm not sure if Thomas Walkup could change the picture. He went for his best players. He had his best offensive players on the court. We could argue about foul. Maybe it is possible to play foul for a couple of minutes to try and break Anadolu Efes with his size. But if you look at the second half, foul was not that great. He started the game strongly. He was attacking Tibor Plais. He drew fouls. He scored some points. But Hassan Martin was actually the better option in this game.
Yeah.
So I have to disagree with you on this one. Yes, we can talk about Olympiacos lacking a GOAT. Sure. Vasa Micic is the best player on the court, and he hits the game winner, the buzzer beater. Kostas Lukas did not have the opportunity to take the final shot. Olympiacos did not have the final possession. They were hoping for an overtime. Then you can discuss their choices on defense when the game was tied with 15 seconds left. Ataman was very clear during his timeout. He said, with 6 seconds left, Vasa has to attack. It's okay. He needs to have the ball. Everyone's expecting that to happen. Then Olympiacos have some choices to make. Do you blitz Vasa? Do you force him to pass the ball? I read Mike James on Twitter saying you could actually foul him and have the last possession to yourself. I'm not a big fan of this idea, but if you could force Vasa to pass the ball and the game would be decided by Moorman taking the last shot, even if it's wide open, I would take that. I would rather see Moorman taking a wide open shot than Vasa Micic hitting the fadeaway. But it is what it is. It's very easy to talk after everything happened already. I think it was good defense, but just better offense in this case.
Regarding the last possession, everything was clear because even before that last shot, there was a possession where Vasa Micic penetrated and he passed the ball out to Moorman and he missed pretty good open look. And I don't agree with Mike James because, as you mentioned, Olympiacos had big struggles offensively, so you decide the game by defense, not by offense in this situation and in the fourth quarter like that. I agree. I mean, at first, we have to emphasize how smart Vasa Micic was in that last possession. He was really struggling throughout the game, and it was related to two facts. First of all, he wasn't 100% before this Final Four because of his, let's say, old injuries. Also, he kind of got injured again or on different plays during the game, and you could clearly see him limping during the game. Every time he made some shots, his face was in pain. So he was struggling, and he played like 34 minutes. And he missed 2 free throws in the end of the fourth quarter, and Shane Larkin the same. He got injured. He was subbed out for 3 minutes, and he couldn't find his rhythm, and he got back. I mean, personally, I thought that Efes had done. But then that last possession, Olympiacos, they were doing everything very good. I mean, Thomas Walkup and Sasha Vezenkov, the way they approached the screen of Moorman, they did everything not to switch Micic on Vezenkov. But Vasa was so patient. He rescreened 2 times, I think. And finally, probably Olympiacos, they were not patient enough. And Thomas Walkup decided to run for Moorman, and that's how Vezenkov was left out against Micic. And then with like 4, 3 or 2 seconds left, Micic, finally playing patient, playing smart, he got this switch. And I mean, I have to be honest, although I don't consider Vezenkov as a great defender, he did everything to make this shot as contested as possible. I stopped this video, and it was like almost, his hand was almost on his face, and the shots and the hand, I mean, that was very tough, off-balance shot. And that's where Spanoulis was playing that night. That's what kind of color of jersey Spanoulis was wearing that night. But regarding to your thoughts about lineup changes of Olympiacos, I mean, I just see, let's say, a couple of opportunities to make some adjustments during the fourth quarter. Tyler Dorsey, he had only 1 point during the fourth quarter. I agree with you about foul.
But he was the guy who hit the shots in the end of the third. Dorsey hit those shots that actually got Olympiacos back in the game when they were down by 11.
He had amazing third quarter, but maybe let's sub out him for 2-3 minutes to keep him fresh for the end, and let's try something with World Cup. I mean, I just cannot accept the situation where you cannot score a field goal for 5 minutes, and when you see Efes really struggling, just energy-wise, because all their key players, they were really out of gas.
Yeah, man, I get what you're saying, but if the game's on the line and you need to choose a player for an ISO situation, let's say, Dorsey or Walkup, it's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer, but if we're talking about the beginning of the fourth quarter and you have Dorsey who is scoring 1 point in 9 minutes of the fourth quarter, I mean...
Yeah, but he missed 2 free throws. I mean, who can predict that? Who can foresee Tyler Dorsey missing 2 free throws?
That's the thing. Why I might look as a smart guy talking about after the fourth quarter when I see this box score of the fourth quarter and possible adjustments. But still, I was just missing some reaction, because there was a moment
where
I thought that Olympiacos could, finish the game in their favor when Efes were really struggling as well.
Well, which is why I'm disagreeing with you, because I'm thinking about the coach, and he is going with a better offensive player in this case. I know that in the end he only got 1 point in the fourth quarter, but Tyler Dorsey is better than Thomas Walkup with the ball in his hands if we're talking about the offensive talent. It's a fact. Everybody knows that. And on defense, Olympiacos was good. I don't think there were any adjustments needed. They just needed some luck, or I don't know, balls, players hitting shots, Vezenkov hitting at least one corner free. That's all they needed. I mean, in this situation, they were close to going to the overtime because the last possession was for Efes, not for Oli. In the end of the day, it was just 2 great teams battling it out, and Anadolu Efes got the win. Like I said, the impact of Elijah Bryant was huge in this game. Throughout the season, it looked like a very questionable addition for Anadolu Efes. Elijah Bryant was averaging 5 points per game with quite low shooting numbers, and you didn't really see any impact from him. Only a couple of regular season performances where he scored like 15 or 12 points, but he just looked like a role player that doesn't do much. In this game, he stepped up. Ronnie Beaubois, for example, he was somewhere, I don't know, he was gone. He was disappeared. He played some minutes, but I didn't really feel like Beaubois was there.
Probably he's not healthy. I mean, he had injury problems.
Yeah, probably because he played less than 5 minutes in the first half, and in the second half, he also didn't contribute much. I want to give a shout out also to 2 veterans from the United States, Chris Singleton and Brian Dunstan. You could feel their energy. They were so aggressive. They were so dedicated on defense. They got in a foul trouble, right? But some of these fouls were really smart. And I'm really happy to see a guy like Singleton, for example, who was struggling during the regular season. He was criticized a lot. A lot of people were saying that Singleton is not himself anymore. Probably, but in this game, there are no huge numbers, but he really played good. Aggressive, hard, made some buckets, but usually from Singleton, you're not expecting a lot of points. You need his energy and his fighting spirit. So Dunstan and Singleton, 2 veteran players in the Final Four, they really stepped up. And Anadolu Efes is a slightly better team in my eyes. It would be nice to see a best-of-5 series between these 2 clubs, but at the end of the day, you have to appreciate the champions, the defending champions. The character is there, the clutchness, everything. And Olympiacos, well, 1 shot away from making it to the final, but as you said, I believe it's just the first but not the last experience in the Final Four for Sasha Vezenkov. They have a great team. You cannot say that this team is aging. Printezis is approaching retirement probably, but Slukas and Papanikolaou, they still have at least a couple of good seasons in them. The core of the team is very good. Bartzokas has a clear idea how he wants the team to play, to function. A very well-balanced team. They have every chance to come back next year. Well, right now, I think Olympiacos, they have an amazing support in Belgrade. They have like 10,000 fans. I think they will be the more motivated team for the 3rd place game. And to finish on a high note, to finish the season, grabbing the 3rd spot and looking back, you could say it was a hell of a season for Oli.
Yeah, trying to talk about their future, as you mentioned, I can see them only improving. Like Printes is going to retire, so they will find new players to fill some positions. The main thing is that the core is staying. They had this extension with Fal. They have Lukas for a long-term contract. Walk up. The only question is probably over Dorsey's future, because he has this clear goal to go to the NBA, and probably is going to be his priority for summer, let's say. And I'm not sure if Olympiacos will be willing to wait for his answer, like it happened last year. I think that he joined Olympiacos just in August. But if you add another, let's say, similar type of player like Tyler Dorsey, it will be a great fit, as we saw, next to Slukas and Walkup. Other than that, they might make some adjustments with role players, but I believe that we'll see the same core of guys, and I mean, the future might be only better for this team. We didn't hide our love for Olympiacos for what they did this year. It's sad that they were like one shot away, or let's say one crazy shot away from great player like Vasa Misic. But that's the Final Four. That's the reality of the Final Four.
Yeah. And Vezenkov was third on the MVP list, and you can expect more of the same next season. Dorsey, if he leaves the team, if he goes to the NBA, you will need to sign somebody as a replacement. But actually, there's not a lot to change for this roster. I could see only a couple of areas where they can improve. Well, for example, if Printes retires, and you can replace Quincy Acey and Livio Jean-Charles with better role players, more quality, add more quality on the bench, and that's it. But other than that, they're good to go. For example, Shaquille McKissick, he's known for his inconsistency. In this game, again, I saw really good energy from McKissick. And very important was that he made all his free throws, because other teams usually foul him. It's very difficult to contain him when he plays on the open court, and he hit all the free throws. I think it was a good game from McKissick. Efes, as Ataman said, they wanted to push the pace. They wanted to have a lot of fast break opportunities. They are so dependent on the free-point shooting. And in the fourth quarter, there were no fast breaks. There were no easy points. It was not very good quarter from Anadolu Efes, actually. Olympiacos did a good job limiting the numbers. I mean, when you limit Efes under 80 points, you will always have a chance to win against them. Efes, they are a very talented team, but they're not a very good defensive team. So it was a close game with ups and downs. Olympiacos was better in the first half, especially the first quarter. Efes had a big run in the third. In the end of the day, I think it's nice to have Efes defending the crown in the final, and Ataman, well, once again raising the finger. One more game left. He knows what he's saying. He said before that they're gonna leave Belgrade with the trophy in a storm or something like that. So he is keeping his promises so far, and they can be the first sixth seed to actually win the EuroLeague. The fifth seed have won it before, Real Madrid, Fenerbahce, but the sixth seed, I'm not sure even if the sixth seed ever won a playoff series in the EuroLeague, but Efes, they are very close right now.
The sixth seed won. It was Žalgiris against Olympiacos, I think, 4 years ago. But
right.
What do you think about first seeds and them being unlucky in the Final Fours? What are your thoughts about Barcelona failing to secure win against Real Madrid, where it seemed like everything should have gone, should have go to in their favor? Real missing probably the main point guard of the team, them having problems during the season, not playing, let's say, best basketball in the recent months, and falling short.
Well, this El Clasico is kind of hard to digest, actually. First of all, before going into detail, a couple of questions about Barca. What's wrong with Kyle Kuric? Is he having some health issues?
It must be something with his health, because he was playing so great all year, and he played 2 minutes in this game. It has to be something with his health. We didn't have enough time, to ask these questions. Probably we will do it today during the media day, but I think it has to be something.
Well, something has to be wrong, because he's the best shooter in the EuroLeague right now, because there's no more JC Carroll on the stage. So something has to be wrong with him. And 12 minutes of Corey Higgins, I didn't get that, honestly.
In what way?
I know he's a great player, a legendary player. He didn't play whole season. You're playing him for 12 minutes in the third quarter when Real Madrid are coming back. Barca had a 13-point lead, and that second unit with Higgins, with Jokubaitis, during that crucial moment, they were on the floor. Nick Kalaitis was sitting, I think, for too long. It's normal to shorten your rotation in a game like this. You can start trusting 6 or 7 guys. I believe there's a quote from Phil Jackson. It's something like, during the decisive game, you rotate 7, play 6, trust 5. And I really didn't get Corey Higgins being there for 12 minutes. He hasn't played for, what, like 3 months?
Yeah, he came back recently.
Or something like that?
He looked in a, let's say, match fit shape, and he was important for the locker room. And I agree with you. He was miserable, but at the same time, maybe Sharas just didn't have any backcourt options. If Kuric was not healthy for the game, for example.
Play Kalaitis 32 minutes. Play Laprovitola as much as you can. Jokubaitis, okay, he's a young player. He made a good play in the first half. I think in the second half, he has no business being on that court. It's a veterans game at that point. And Real Madrid, they have so much experience. You need to match that. Even Mirotic. Play 36 minutes of Nikola Mirotic. I don't see why not. You don't have very solid options as backups in these situations. And Real Madrid came back and took the lead when Barca was playing the second unit. But, anyways, I cannot really understand how Barca lost this game. Nigel Williams-Goss got injured with 20 seconds or 30 seconds in the game. Real Madrid were left with Sergio Llull, Fabian Coser, and Alberto Balde. And the game plan was handoff to Coser driving to the left. It's so simple. Of course, the Frenchman made huge plays with those 2 steals and fast breaks. And when Laprovitola tripped himself to Poirier, Coser hitting that 3-pointer, I really thought it's a French Jason Tatum on the court. But honestly, I cannot understand and explain how Barca lost this game. They were in such a great position. They allowed 52 points to an opponent that was led by Coser and Llull. I know Tavares can be a problem in some situations. He didn't actually play in the fourth quarter because Lasso went with Poirier, with a more mobile center. I know Yabusele is great. Yabusele probably took it personally that he was not included in the All EuroLeague second team. And in this game, he was really matching Nikola Mirotic. Mirotic was 4 from 6 shooting threes. Yabusele answered, got the same numbers. But again, I'm not sure how Barca lost it. It went to the wire to the last seconds, and of course, when it goes to the last seconds, it's anybody's game. And for example, you made a good play. Laprovitola rushed when he went to the basket, and Poirier blocked his shots. There were some frustrating situations for Barca. They had a really great set for Abrinas after a timeout to tie the game with a 3-pointer. Unfortunately, his foot was on the line. Unfortunately, it was a 2-pointer. And, they won 6 El Clásicos so far this season. Somewhere this run had to end, and it ended...
The worst time.
The worst possible time for Barca. It's the biggest win of the season for Real Madrid. Nobody cares about what happened in the regular season now. The most important thing is that Real Madrid is in the final. And I think for Efes, they should be looking at this situation like a very, very big opportunity. You're facing Real Madrid with veterans that played extended minutes on Thursday. Nigel Williams-Goss is out. I don't believe he can come back to the court tomorrow. I saw him in
breakfast. He didn't look
it
like
looked really
he
bad.
was ready to play tomorrow.
It looked really bad. So the title is Efes to lose, actually.
But there's one point. Real is full of veterans. They have injury problems, but at the same time, we don't know what's the health status of Shane Larkin. He played 38 minutes. He got injured in the end. So let's wait and see how he's doing. As I said, Micic, he was already feeling some injury problems before the Final Four. I'm not so sure how this hit of Shaquille McKissic made things worse, and they really looked exhausted in the end of the game. So I agree with you that it's a great chance, kind of out of nowhere, considering their entire season. But at the same time, I just hope that they will have enough strength, to recover for the final game.
Yeah, we'll get to the finals predictions probably in the end of the podcast. Let's just stay with El Clasico a little bit longer. What's your take? What do you think? Why Barca lost the game? What was the problem?
I have no clue.
They were up by 13. They were up by 13 in the beginning of the third.
I have no clue. I mean, I wouldn't underestimate Fabien Coser. I mean, he already had some great games during the season in important moments for Real Madrid. He's actually on his career high, let's say, highest scoring numbers when he's wearing Real jerseys in 5 seasons, I think. So, I mean, it's not surprising that he took over the team. And to be honest, I mean, Nigel Williams-Goss, he wasn't overperforming this year. So you cannot say that Coser, came out of nowhere.
But he was good in Maccabi series. Williams-Goss was really good in Maccabi series.
But still, in games against Barca, Goss was not so important, let's say. So I just want to, to appreciate what Coser did on the court. I mean, that was amazing performance, both offensively and defensively. He not only inspired this Real Madrid run in the second half when they went for 17-2, he scored 9 points in the third quarter, and he scored these 5 decisive points in the end of the fourth quarter when he hit a three-pointer over Nicolas Laprovitola when he got slipped. And then he stole the ball in the next possession. I think it was crucial, and he kind of set the tone for the entire team in the second half. Yeah. And I just, to explain what happened, I would like to start, from Real's side at first. And I really loved what all these 3 Frenchmen did on the court. You mentioned Yabusele. He made 4 3-pointers, which is he matched his career high in the EuroLeague. He made tough shots. These were really tough shots, and you had skill and guts, let's say, to make all these shots. Then Vincent Poirier, I mean, I think that his block with less than 1 minute to play, it was something around 50 seconds to play, his block on Laprovitola's shot, when it seemed like he's going to finish with the layup against Lul, I think it was the second most important highlight, let's say, of the Final Four after Micic 3-pointer. And this was only one of few hustle moments of Poirier which were really important. Poirier also went scoreless in the first half. He scored 6 points, mostly by putbacks or just dunking the ball over Brandon Davis' head. And his energy, his offensive rebounds, I think he got 3 offensive rebounds, 3 blocks. They were really important for Real Madrid. And in some situations, they really just out-hustled Barca. You saw how Gabriel Deck was jumping over Barcelona players' heads, getting all these offensive rebounds, even Sergio Llull. So I was just missing more discipline from Barca, more effort in these effort situations. But other than that, to explain this collapse, I mean, you made good points about using or trusting the second unit players too much in that decisive stretch. Maybe Charas didn't make correct adjustments just to stop this wave of Real Madrid when they started their run. I don't know, it's hard to explain because personally, I think that for Barca, it was a wasted opportunity to win the EuroLeague title, just as I mentioned before the Final Four. I mean, all other teams, they were really struggling. Now you have Real Madrid losing their main point guard in the beginning of the game. And Barca, they were always had this upper hand during the season. And I agree with Šarūnas Jasikevičius. I think that Barca is a better team, quality-wise. But they missed a huge opportunity to win the EuroLeague title. And, when you have a player like Nikola Mirotic, I think it was his fourth Final Four when he didn't manage to win the title. When you have Šarūnas Jasikevičius, I mean, you never know how many opportunities in the future you will have to get this title. So I think it's very painful for both of these guys, Mirotic personally, Šarūnas Jasikevičius, and whole entire Barcelona organization.
Yeah. And Mirotic was great. Actually, in the past, we were used to seeing him disappearing in the Final Fours in the crucial games. In this game, he was great. You cannot have any criticism towards Mirotic except from one
pass
play.
to Dante Exum in the corner.
Yeah, I mean, come on. You're almost open for the shot. You're the best shooter on the team, on the court, on the league, and you're making an extra pass to Dante Exum, who is known for his flaws, let's say, hitting jump shots. Real Madrid would take that shot all night long. I didn't get that. It was a bad decision, a bad read from Mirotic. But other than that, he had a fantastic performance offensively. He was just great. He hit some tough shots, the usual plays, the high-low situations. Nick Kalaitis dishing assists to him. Everything was there from Mirotic. One of his best performances of the season, actually. But he needed help from other guys. And let's say Nicolas Laprovitola, so many ups and downs for him in this game. When they were down by 7, he made 2 3-pointers in a row. He got them back in the game. He tied the game, and then he burned himself. He was trapped, lost the ball. Coser made a steal, went for a layup in the fast break. Madrid up by 5. Then Barcelona have the chance to take the lead. Laprovitola is rushing. We're talking about Vincent Poirier, what a great play, what a great block. Yes, I agree. But Laprovitola has no business rushing to the basket like this. What's the point? Keep the ball, make a smart play. I don't understand why he did that.
I can't blame the guy who was supposed to be the backup point guard. I mean, he scored 17 points. He hit 2 very important 3-pointers. I know that he became very important part, but probably that's the problem of other Barcelona guys. And you mentioned a good point. I was also missing more help for Nikola Mirotic. Higgins, he has his own problems. Other players didn't step up. Other players had health issues. Jokubaitis, he's still too young for the importance of these games. I was just missing more quality next to Mirotic, and he kind of felt a lone warrior in this battlefield. Yeah,
well, you're right about Laprovitola. It's just that during the season, he grew as a player and he got this big role and big responsibility. And then you already have some expectations. You're expecting that he's not going to lose the ball with so little time left when Real Madrid is leading by 3 points. I'm not blaming him for tripping when Coser hit that shot. It was just an unlucky situation. But losing the ball, rushing the shot, being blocked, you have to be smarter in these situations. But again, that's not what lost the game for Barca, actually. Offensively, okay, they finished with 83 points. Maybe you could expect some better individual performances from some of the players. But what lost the game, in my mind, is the players did not take care of those really small details. Like, too many times Coser was driving to the left. Too many times you didn't get the 50-50 balls. Too many times you gave second chance opportunities to Madrid even without Tavares on the court. You need to take care of those rebounds. Again, you missing the free throw and Yabusele grabs the rebound. It should not happen. You still have the chance to win the game. There were so many little details, and you cannot even say that these things are strategic. These are mental things, and they just didn't take care of those. And I mean, they have more quality on the roster. Everybody knows that, especially when Nigel Williams-Goss got hurt. Real Madrid playing basically without point guards except from Sergio Llull, depending on Abalde and Coser to create something. Barca, of course, have more quality. And in the best-of-5 series in Liga Endesa, if they face each other in the finals, I have no doubts they will win the series. But it was just not their night. And, you know, like we said, it's a very frustrating loss for Barcelona.
And we are hearing about Sharas complaining about all these details since the playoffs, since the series against Bayern Munich. And as he mentioned, they are lacking of killer mentality, and they're having issues closing the series, closing the games like yesterday, for example. But I was just wondering, okay, you're singing the same song for past couple of seasons, so what you should do with it? I mean, would you need to make some roster changes to find new players, new facilitators, let's say new killers, to find killers actually for your team? I mean, what's the ending for this? What's the next step for this? Okay, I also agree that they should win the Spanish league if nothing exceptional will happen. But looking towards the EuroLeague, two wasted. Okay, I cannot call it wasted opportunity last season because Efes were arguably the best team in the league. This year, it was a wasted opportunity. I'm just moving forward. I just don't know what Barca actually should do with the current roster, with the current situation. From what I hear, Brandon Davis is very close to signing with Milan. Then Roland Schmitz, at least for now, he's expected to leave, although he's not a core player. Who else? I don't know. Other than that, most of these guys should remain. Dante Exum might go to the NBA, but Sharas and Barca might find some new pieces. The core, it remains the same. So I just don't know what Sharas should do with it looking forward. Do you have any suggestions?
Well, yeah, I have a suggestion. I think we should not overthink it. We're overthinking. Your whole season depends on one game, and in some cases, on one shot. So the shot goes in, you're talking about greatness. The shot doesn't go in, you're talking about adjustments and replacements. I think it's we're making things too complicated. They're not that complicated. Yeah. It's the Final Four format. It sometimes looks unfair. Efes are the champions right now, defending champions. What if Will Clyburn hits the shot last year?
What if Corey Higgins was healthy or just had a regular, standard season by his standards?
What if Kevin Punter hits the shot last year?
Yeah.
We have a different picture. And now yesterday's games, both games were decided in the last seconds. Micic hitting the game winner and Real Madrid making their free throws. That's it. Mirotic then just he threw up a prayer, how the Americans say, a Hail Mary shot from the mid-court somewhere. I don't know. He was asking for a foul, but obviously there was no foul. It's impossible to give free throws in that situation. But then, your whole season depends on the last second shot. If it goes in, everyone's great. If it doesn't go in, we need to cut 4 players and replace them. I don't think there are any deep problems in Barca's roster. Yes, of course, you can always improve. You can say like Nigel Hayes-Davis, what's his role on this team? You could have a better forward that can offer you a lot more possibilities offensively. They wanted Nikola Kalinic. I could see them being a much better team with Nikola Kalinic, for example. Then again, if some players leave with Barca's budget, you can replace them. You can sign other guys. The only guy that is irreplaceable, Mirotic. Best player in the league right now.
Yeah. The thing is about, these, let's say, mental problems we were talking about, that these problems are repeating again and again. And, is it the problem of players or is it the problem the coach?
Is the coach putting too much pressure sometimes?
What's the solution for this problem if we see it, repeating again and again? So, I don't know. But as I said, only one shot, only one healthy player, left them out of the final.
Listen, we can actually compare 2 games. The Copa del Rey final and the EuroLeague semifinal. We know that EuroLeague's Final Four is the bigger stage. But, Copa del Rey final. How it went, Barca needed to make a huge comeback. They did it. In the last seconds, they were up by 2. Gabi Deck went for an open layup. He missed it. Real Madrid lost the game. In this case, it was again a close game. Sergio Llull made a big layup. La Provitola was blocked. Hanga hit clutch free throws. Actually, when he fouled Hanga, I thought it was a really good situation for Barca. Hanga was cold. He was sitting on the bench for 12 minutes or even more. And I really thought there are big odds that he's going to miss at least one. He made them both. Real Madrid, being up by 3, decided not to foul. And again, as I said, Barca had a great play. Abrinas just stepped on the 3-point line. It was a 2-pointer instead of a 3-pointer. So these fine margins decide who's playing the final and who's playing for a 3rd place, and nobody wants to play for a 3rd place. I'm still...
They have to play for TV rights. Just to,
Yeah, every single year I'm nagging about the 3rd place game. What's the point? Why are they playing? Honestly, on the same time in Lithuania, we will have Žalgiris Lietkabelis in the semis. I would rather watch that than the third place game.
In best of 5, they're 1-2.
And nobody wants to play for the third spot in the EuroLeague. You feel like a loser, and then on Saturday you still have to play.
It's Come on. Dead topic. I mean, we all know we all don't want this fair game play, so we just...
Commentators don't want it, fans don't want it, players don't want it, coaches don't want it. Who needs that?
TV. They need some...
Whatever.
Just, to fulfill the TV schedule. Anyway, only 2 things to add. First of all, about Fabien Kozer. There are rumors, and also I heard some stuff that Real might be thinking about parting ways with him. He's a veteran. They might need some fresh legs for their backcourt. There are some other interesting players available on the market to join them. And from what I heard, that they were kind of really thinking about it. But I think that this season, few other important games, and especially this semifinal game, and we're not sure what's waiting for the final. Maybe he will finally win this Final Four MVP award, as probably he's supposed to win it in 2018. I mean, I think that this game proved that Real cannot afford just letting him go, because you never know. You might be doing the same mistake like with Nicolas Laprovitola. Anyway, then there's a case...
but Real Madrid, they're still in a position to replace a lot of players on the roster.
Yeah.
This team needs a rebuild. Actually, in the final, we're going to see 2 teams that need a rebuild. 2 veteran teams that need a lot of replacements in the summer.
Like to say right now.
Yeah, it is like a last
cliche,
dance.
But it's true. Yeah. But the second super important thing is that Pablo Lasso made his 6th... I mean, since 2013, Real made the EuroLeague final for the 6th time. I mean, 6 of 9 times Lasso led his team to the final. I just don't want to hear any rumors, any information about Real potentially, letting him go. I mean, I just hope that Real Madrid front office will understand it as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in this game, he found solutions being down by 11 without the starting point guard who got hurt with less than a minute played. He found solutions. I don't know what he said in the locker room. I don't know, maybe some of the players, the veteran players, also had their voices clear in the locker room, but they were down by 11. They were in a bad position. And as a commentator or just a fan, you are thinking, this game is almost dead. Barca needs one more run in the third, and that's it. There's no way to come back for Real Madrid. So huge respect to Pablo Lasso. There were rumors about him being fired when they lost like 8 out of 10 in the regular season, and the team really seemed in a very bad moment, and that Tompkins-Ertel situation happened. Again, now with Williams-Goss injured, actually you would like to have Thomas Ertel playing. I know that it's probably not going to happen, but you still need somebody as a ball handler. You need some help, and in this case, Ertel, if he can play at least 15 minutes, he could be very important. But I mean, probably the decision is made about him and Tompkins.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, Kozer is doing good job. Efes backcourt, they won't be very focused on defense.
What a comeback story that would be. But what a comeback story that would be. Thomas Ertel getting back to the roster in the EuroLeague final, playing big minutes and making plays for Real Madrid. It would be a big comeback story, because at one point it looked like they're gonna just release him from the team.
What kind of story you're predicting for the final on Saturday?
Well, first of all, we don't know about the health status of Micic and Larkin, but obviously they're gonna play even with painkillers. Either way, it's a final. They will play. Well, for Real Madrid, I see one way: winning through size. Gabi Deck in the third position, I think, is the biggest advantage to them. It's the biggest mismatch for Anadolu Efes, and they should really use Gabi Deck a lot in the post-up situations, in the low post. He can play against Anderson. He can play against Bryant, against any of those guys. I think the Argentinian forward will be like a key player. Then again, Yabusele and Tavares. Their power offensive rebounds, second chance opportunities, points in the paint. This is the way to go for Real Madrid, in my opinion. But then, on the other side, in modern day basketball, you will always go with the team that has more talent in the point guard and shooting guard positions. You will always go with the team that has better creators. And Efes, with Micic and Larkin, they can dominate games. And for Madrid veterans, it might be a huge problem. The pace, if Efes get their pace, they can actually get a blowout win. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a blowout final with Efes having a particularly easy win. So for Real Madrid, points in the paint, being physical, using Gabidek, limiting the number of possessions, limiting your turnovers, not allowing Anadolu Efes any fast break situations. And then there will be moments where you just have to survive. If you're playing without the point guard, you run the clock, you play for 24 seconds. You hope that some of the difficult shots go in, because we know that Sergio Llull and Rudy Fernandez, they will take these wild one-legged fadeaway shots. And it just happens that sometimes they make those. So yeah, this is my take. Obvious favorites are Efes. Throughout the whole year, I was saying that if Madrid go to the Final Four, I see them as champions. It's unfair to change your predictions with one game left.
No, but you have to, yeah. A lot of things has changed, so.
Again, yeah, based on logic, I have to say that Efes wins, but come on. I have to stick to my predictions, even though I don't really believe in them right now.
Yeah, I also think that Efes, they have an upper hand, although I don't think that, I'm not expecting a blowout win, just because, of health situation of Micic and Larkin. As I said, they will play.
I'm not saying I'm expecting it. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if everything clicks. It could happen. I don't see Real Madrid, for example, having a blowout win, but Efes, it's possible.
I have a feeling that this final might be ugly because Real should throw all these bodies on Micic and Larkin, and just to try to contain them as best as possible. And at the same time, they have to do everything just avoid all these, third options of Efes. Like Elijah Bryant, we're not sure if he will show up again. By the way, one interesting thing that Elijah Bryant, I think that he might be the first player who won back-to-backs both in the EuroLeague and NBA. I mean, that's one interesting stuff. But anyway, it all also goes on Brian Dunstan's shoulder. He was super important at that last game. I mean, if they won't find the third option, which actually happened pretty often this season, if they won't survive against Real in terms of, being beaten by them, because they have enough bodies, they have enough big bodies to make their life hard, I see Real having a chance to win. But as I said, I'm going with talent this way. I think that no matter how tough, how exhausted they feel at the moment, what kind of problems do they have, but they also understand that there's only 40 minutes left, and they will do everything for sure, just to finish this amazing story of Anadolu Efes, because as cliche as it sounds, it's probably their last dance. It's their last dance, and let's admit it. So I think that it might be another factor why they have a better chance, let's say, to win the EuroLeague title. But it will be interesting final in terms of level of drama, but I predict that it could be an ugly game.
Yeah, because when Real Madrid are using their size, they can play these enormous lineups. Abalde at the point guard, for example, Jeffrey Taylor, Gabidek, Yabusele, and Tavares. The size is just huge. But then it gives you no spacing on offense, and the game really looks ugly. But that's the way to go for Real Madrid right now. Gone are the days when they were led by Campazzo. Gone are the days when they were led by Doncic. Gone are the Sergio Llull MVP days. The only way for them to win right now is like this. And they understand that. Pablo Lasso really understands that. The players also. It will be interesting to see who will they throw on Larkin and Micic. For example, Taylor did not really play big minutes against Barca. But in the final, who knows? He's the guy to pressure the ball handler. He is a very good one-on-one defender. So I expect to see more of Jeffrey Taylor. Again, Hanga did not have a good game in the semi. Maybe in the final you will see more Adam Hanga being aggressive. I don't know, but just the only advantages I see for Real Madrid are Yabusele, Tavares, and Dek.
Yeah.
And Efes obviously have the star power in Micic and Larson.
They say that it's hard to surprise anybody after like 9 months of the season, but Pablo Lasso is the coach who's always trying to surprise. Even against Barca, they played, let's say...
Never you can predict his starting lineup. He started the El Clasico with Yabusele in the 5th position.
Which is very rare, knowing Lasso and how much he trusts and how much he plays Tavares in the beginning of the game. And also he used, these big lineups. Let's say he used fewer big lineups in yesterday's game than usual. So I can predict some things like that for the final game. And there's a very good, indicator for Efes, for Real, how they should win this game, how they should try to win this game. They played twice this year against Efes, and they won the game against Efes when they kept them under 70 points. And of course, they lost the game, although it was a close game. They lost the game in Istanbul when they had Efes scoring 93. So it's very clear indicator what kind of game they should try to force.
Yeah. And last season, Real Madrid made a 5-game series against Efes out of nowhere. It looked like a sweep. Then it was a 5-game series. Then in game 5, Kruno Simon made a crazy shot. If not for that shot, who knows what could have happened. So, there are ways. There are ways for a veteran team. They're a very patient team. They never overreact when they're down double digits, which is what we saw yesterday. Okay, they were down by 13. The players were not in panic mode or anything like that. They were just playing their game. So experience means a lot, actually, in the Final Four. And we saw that some players were there for the first time. It was hard for them. And those guys that been there for 6 or 7 years, how many Final Fours Sergio Llull has played? Like 8?
Don't even ask. I have no clue. Should be something
like
Kostas
that.
Lukas was the leader.
So,
I think that Llull played the most minutes in the Final Fours, if I'm correct. Yeah, it has to be something like that. And Vasilij Micic is a greatest example of being experienced enough to win games in the Final Four. The way he started for Žalgiris, the way he tried to win the title with Efes in his first season, and now we see him. After 4 or 5 years, he's making these crazy shots. So. Experience is important. It's going to be crazy final with 2 very experienced teams. And it was a pleasure to talk to you again, actually.
Yeah. Is it a day off for you today in Belgrade?
No days off.
You're still working?
No days off.
No days off.
Yeah.
Got it. Right. So nice to see you, even though not in the studio. But we're going to catch up next week.
Of course.
To discuss the
Thanks
final.
Thanks everyone who were watching us. Follow us on BasketNews.com YouTube channel and also follow us on BasketNews.com website. See you soon.